Welcome to the Personal Pension Radio Podcast, where it's all about helping you complete your financial journey to retirement. Discover time-tested strategies and get unconventional insights into wealth building and retirement that actually work. Break away from the herd and go for the retirement you dream of. And now, here's your host, the income engineer, Kraig Strom.
All right, back on Personal Pension Radio. So excited to be here. I really appreciate all the support, all the great questions and emails that have been coming in lately. Thank you so much. Love having the opportunity also, by the way, to meet with several of my listeners out there in podcast land. Actually, through the miracles of technology, I meet with folks all over the country through Zoom meetings and webinars, conferences, that kind of stuff, or phone conferences. Love, love, love it. So please keep all that coming. And remember, if you ever want to get in touch with me, Kraig at kraigstrom.com. That's Kraig with a K at kraigstrom.com. Now, you might have noticed in the title of this episode that this is a new thing for me, short stuff. I actually want to do just some little bite-size, quick podcasts, and every time I say that, I end up talking too long. So I figured if I titled it short stuff, I will just dive right on in and keep it at a short stuff, bite-sized little piece. So today, let me just do that. Let me remind you, if you want to get in touch with me about your own personal questions, please send that email, Kraig with a K at kraigstrom.com. Now, quick disclosure. I am not an attorney. I am not a certified public accountant. I am certifiable, but I am a certified financial planner professional. All that being said, remember, please don't act on things that you hear on this show or any other show, especially financial entertainers or radio or podcast in general, for your personal situation. Make sure that you meet with a qualified, certified financial planner. Get some really good in-depth information flowing back and forth before you start to act on any advice that you might receive. So with that said, I want to dive right into two things. One, folks have been sending me emails and commenting, hey, you haven't had any deals of the week lately. My deal of the week only comes up, when I have something I think is worthy to share. And contrary to my wife's opinion sometimes, I really don't intentionally spend money all the time. I do spend money more often and more frequently than my dear wife. I have more shoes than she does, for example. But I am always extremely thrifty, and there's no reason to buy something if I don't need to buy something. Now, this week is a little different. I actually want to tell you the story about my deal of the week. So I have a used car dealership license. I am a crazy car guy. I do like to buy and sell cars, and I have a car show, and I do all of that. And sometimes I have key issues. Yes, key issues, ignition key issues. Remember back when we used to have basic keys that we would use to open up our car and start our car. Just a simple key. It's easy. You get it cut at Ace Hardware store. It's not very expensive. Costs you 97 cents. You didn't push a button or anything like that. Now today, we don't even have to open and close our own trunk like common animals. We press a button and the trunk opens, and we press a button and the trunk closes. We double tap the locks and then all the windows go down or whatever. It's amazing. But the key is the ultimate scam in the manufacturing and dealer game, because these little electronic keys are all computer coded and so forth. So they're an awesome little retail markup item for dealerships. So here's my example. I have one of my cars that I have for sale had a bad key. One of the buttons was bad. And I called the dealership, and they said it was $200 for a new key for the car. It would have to be reprogrammed and recut and this and that, and $200. Now, this is a very inexpensive used car to begin with. So I was a little taken aback and like, ouch, man, just wait a second. Hold on a second. Let me do a little research. So here's what I did. quickly, simply went to the Google machine and then actually just realized, and I went right to the Amazon machine, and I bought a brand new, with a battery, computer little key fob for the exact same car, the exact same key, for $15. $15. Now, that arrived in less than 2 days because we have 500 Amazon distribution centers in my neighborhood here in Southern California. And that key arrived. Now, that key is not ready to start my car. So what I did is I took apart the old one that was broken, and I took apart the new one. Yes, it was a little technical, but I sat down at my workbench because I'm kind of a geek. It wasn't terribly hard. I just took it apart, carefully remembered where all the pieces went and such, and then I put the old circuit board and the old key blade in the brand new key fob. Snapped it all back together, pressed the button, works perfectly, totally fine. So rather than spending $200, I spent $15 and had some fun tinkering in my workshop. I saved 92%. 92%. I fixed my $200 key fob thing for $15. That's my deal of the week. Now, short stuff segment. This is a new segment on Personal Pension Radio. Short stuff. This was an article actually shared by my dear wife. My wife, Amy, is a genealogist. She studies family history. She does my family history, but her family history as well. She is an expert at family genealogy. Really cool stuff. She tracks, the lineage of a family. Now, one of the things that she was doing is she was just going through a webinar that was actually put on by Denise Levenick. Denise Levenick, her website is thefamilycurator.com, thefamilycurator.com, and she's a family history expert, and she's also an expert at helping people sort through and curate their legacy and all the things that they might leave behind. And this article and this piece that Denise Levenick had written really caught my wife's attention because she had gone through very much the same thing when her mom passed away. And it's this idea of what is junk. What is junk when it comes to your legacy and your personal belongings? And here's the thing. Denise Levenick says this, and I have to agree. Junk is anything that your family won't value. So according to Denise, and some recent information that she had gathered and studies that she had researched for her webinar, these are the 10 least wanted heirlooms currently, right? This is what currently in the world today, just a general list that says, hey, if you're thinking about leaving things behind and, my family will want all of this stuff, they will love this, they want that. Yeah, you might be surprised what's on this list. So check this out. The top 10 things that are least wanted as heirlooms, right? To be inherited. Number 1, let's just back it up. I'm going to go number 10 first. Let's see if you can think of what number 1 would be. Number 10, grandfather clocks. Now, there was a time that passing down a grandfather clock was the thing, because grandfather clocks 200 years ago were handmade, amazing works of art. From the woodwork to the mechanics, they were handcrafted. These were things that, heirloom quality, you would pass them down and they would literally go up in value. Today, unfortunately, grandfather clocks have become very commonplace. Many of them are very cheap. They're very large. And number 10, grandfather clocks. Number 9, pianos. Pianos, really? I was surprised. Well, one of the big reasons I would imagine is that fewer and fewer people are buying bigger and bigger houses that could actually house a piano. Number 7, collectible tea sets. chafing dishes and large serving ware. So for years, for so many years, dishes and tea sets and chafing dishes and all of that stuff were passed down. Oh, family heirlooms. But you know what? Nowadays, kids and the grandkids really don't want those items. Number 5, table linens. Table linens. Oh, excuse me, I skipped number 6. Number 6, collectible figurines. So your Precious Moments collection is not on the list of things most likely to want to be inherited. Number 5, table linens. All of your very fine doilies and coasters and all that very stuff. Table linens, not a big item for inheritance. Number 4 is another one that kind of surprises the greatest generation. Those folks in their 65 to 80s, right? This was something you would pass down. Silver plate serveware, right? So your silverware, not something that is big on the, ooh boy, I hope I get grandma's silver list nowadays. Number 3, crystal. Crystal dining ware, glassware, bowls, vases, various things like that. Again, these are things that used to be just very sought after to be passed down. Like, oh, I hope I receive Auntie so-and-so's crystal collection, right? Not the case anymore. So now we're at the top 2. The top 2 items least wanted as heirlooms. China. Number 2, your fine china, your little teacup sets and your plates and the stuff that you would only get out when the most special of special company would come for a visit. Nope. China is not on the list of things that most, wanted to be inherited, right? That's it. That's something that's a big change. And then my wife laughed at this one because number 1 on the list of things least wanted as heirlooms, brown furniture. Brown furniture. Think about it, folks. 1950s, 60s, 70s, right? Think about all the brown that's out there in the furniture world, right? Over the many years, there's a lot of brown. Well, today, that is the least, according to Miss Denise Levenick of thefamilycurator.com, that is the least desired heirloom item to be inherited. So that's a short stuff on there, but I want to give you my 2 cents, right? I have to say, doing this for over 20 years, financial services world for over 20 years, you know what else your kids usually don't want? They don't want your smelly old house. Sometimes a single child may be interested in moving into their parents' old house. That can be a blessing or a curse depending on the taxes and the upkeep cost. I had a situation not long ago where a single child was debating whether to move into their parents' home after their father had passed away. And the sheer cost of the taxes and the maintenance and the water bill and the electric bill and everything else was just too much. That in the long run, there's no way that this child, on their limited income, was going to be able to keep the family house. And they ultimately had to sell it. If there's more than one child, sharing an inherited home is most likely a recipe for contention, for arguments, for problems. It's usually better to sell the house or houses, if there's rental houses, and split the benefits, right? And just to share the benefits among the children, and you get a huge tax benefit because, like states in California, when parents pass away, all the assets, including rental properties, step up in value. And if you don't know what a basis step up is, make sure if you think you're going to inherit any kind of property from mom and dad, make sure that you understand that benefit. Send me an email, Kraig@kraigstrom.com. We can chat. Now, do you know what beneficiaries never say no to? That they are always grateful to receive? That they gladly accept and appreciate? They always appreciate life insurance benefits. Income tax-free life insurance cash. If you want to leave your house to your kids, consider getting a reverse mortgage, for example, and enjoying your hard-earned equity and using some of that money to put a little money into permanent life insurance and just let the kids have cash and whatever equity's left in the house. They would always rather have cash than the old house. That's been my experience. All right, that's short stuff for today. Again, I'm Kraig Strom, the income engineer. Really appreciate you being here. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you for listening to the Personal Pension Radio podcast. We took notes for you, so if you missed any part of the show, you can find a full transcript of each episode at personalpensionradio.com. Be sure to download your free retirement income crisis report at personalpensionradio.com. While you're at it, we would appreciate some iTunes love. Please leave us a fantastic rating on iTunes by going to personalpensionradio.com/iTunes. Thanks again for listening. Now for the disclosure. Information presented is for educational purposes only and is not intended for solicitation, sale or purchase of any security or financial product. Be sure to first consult with a qualified financial advisor and your tax professional before implementing any strategy discussed here. The term personal pension refers to a marketing name designed to educate future retirees and retirees about the economic principles behind creating their own pension-like income. The term personal pension is not intended to be confused with a defined benefit pension plan offered by an employer or by a government entity.